I make a motion to approve June 6th minutes.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
August now. August.
Now,
You have to approve both minutes.
yes. Now, I need a motion to approve the August minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the August minutes.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Proposals? None. Surveyor's report.
We have the, payment contractors. That constitutes the last 2 months. We didn't meet last month.
So this is also September's? September's is also in here too? September is also in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, on the board, the payment to contractors, I would recommend that we, pay those contractors.
I'll make a motion to pay contractors as outlined.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to accept Exhibit A. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
And the last thing is, the change of assessments. Mostly they are people combining key numbers into, instead of having 2 different key numbers for their property, they have just 1 key number. That's basically most of it, and the rest of it is, somebody selling off 20 acres or 10 acres or whatever. So we have to then reassign the assessments.
So you recommend that we approve?
Yeah, I would recommend that we,
I'll make a motion that we approve the change of assessment.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the change of assessments. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
and the last item I have, it's not on the agenda because I just got notice, but Commissioner Dieter cannot attend the drainage board meetings anymore, so we have to have the commissioners appoint a new member of their group. There's only 2 other members, so it's either gonna be Carl Baxmeyer or Deb Fleming to be on the drainage board. And I'll take care of that when I go back upstairs. I'll notify the county commissioners that they need to appoint a replacement for Mr. Dieter, because he said he has a conflict with jobs and can't get it. And if you'll notice, he hasn't been here that much
No.
anyway. And that's all I have. John Law, you want to talk about?
Tom, did you wanna, since you're a little more familiar with it and.
Yeah,
a little bit there.
what,
Are we under privilege of the floor now?
yes,
Are we?
well, privilege of the floor.
Yes.
Step forward. State your name and address.
Over there.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name's Ivan Gonzalez, and I'm at 65445 Elm Road between Osborne and Pierce. My wife and I just moved there in May of 2019. And when we first purchased the property, the previous owners said that there wasn't much flooding going on the land. And in the last couple of springs, we've had extensive amounts of flooding, surface water that's been draining off of Elm Road. We're just east of Anthony's Ditch. And so I'm getting ready to talk to our neighbor, the Bergers, who are farming the land north of us, to see if we would be able to put in a mutual drain to be able to drain off the water into Anthony's Ditch. I'm just beginning to understand what all that takes in terms of the process and what you all would give authority for to be able to drain the water off into the ditch. That's one solution that I've thought of. I've really appreciated the work of John and the crews that have come down Elm Road. They just put in culverts, new culverts onto Elm Road, and I'm hoping that the water will continue to drain south on Elm down to the lowest part of that area, of that watershed area. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge your efforts and your work and really appreciate what you guys have done to help solve those kinds of issues in the county. Again, I'm new to this region, moved here May 2019, but really appreciate all the work that John's office has done to really try to help solve this problem. So thank you.
Now, do you live on the west side of the road?
West side of the road, yes.
You've got, where are you at from the barn house?
In the barn house,
You're in the barn house?
yes.
I thought that they did work, that Burgers did work in that area with a tile a few years ago.
I'm assuming there's tile in there because I've seen the yellow cover for the drainage tile that goes down into the field, but I think some of those tiles might be broken and it's just stopping the water from flowing down into Anthony's Ditch.
That area, I've been there all my life. And that area right at your next neighbor to the north,
The Wardens,
that area right there, ponds every hard rate and it has,
yeah.
so I don't know, but I think Burgers did run a new tile all the way from that ditch up there a few years back.
Yeah. Yeah, I've talked to Emil and Errol. We've gone to John's office together, and we have a good relationship. So I think they've acknowledged that there might be a broken tile in the field, but I'm not sure. I don't know how to even go about investigating that and figuring it out. But the mere fact that water's draining down south from Osborne down Elm Road. I've also talked to the veterinarian that's on Osborne, Matt, and he came down and helped me unplug the drainage tile. And I weed it every once in a while to get all the weeds out of there to try to keep the water flowing. So I don't know what else to do.
When we're done with the meeting, follow me up to our office. I've got some information for you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is there a roadside ditch along Elm Road that needs maintenance or anything?
No.
Is it-
Burn ditch.
There is a little bit of a ditch in front and on the front part of our property, and then alongside, across the street, Sam and Betty's property, that's a little bit of a ditch.
We have a big catch basin on the west side of the road right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Does that catch basin need, or just sort of a natural catch?
What it is if you look on the GIS mapping on the year 2013, you can almost see all the field, almost see all the tile in the field,
Yeah,
especially up by his house. There's one that runs just to the north of his house. Looks like it runs off to the west and into the ditch, but there's a grove of trees over the end of the tile right before it goes into the ditch. So it could very well be that's first place I'd start to look for issues, so.
This is of the tile.
That's on the, looks like the main tile, correct.
So is that tile part of our county drain, or
It
is
is
it
not,
private?
it's private. But I think what he's asking for is if it's something we can get working again, and, is it possible to put that into the regulated
And
drainage?
this drains into which ditch?
Anthony's Ditch.
Anthony's ditch, which is ours?
Yeah, well, which is one of the perks, I believe.
That
So do
wa-
you think the trees are in the first 50,
I don't know, that'd be my
75
first
foot?
guess. Cause it looks like that, you know, it hasn't been worked on for a long time since it's so far back into the field. So that would be my first spot to look at. And then, you know, follow up. I don't know before the house was built or there, I don't know, you know, if it ever worked or ever worked well enough to drain everything, but there's definitely a tile in there, so.
I guess what I was suggesting, if it's in the first 57, 85 feet of the Anthony ditch, that maybe there was something the drainage board could do to
That's
repair it
possible.
within that stretch possibly.
Yeah. I didn't look at it that close, but when he comes up, we'll take a look at it.
Yeah.
Now, when you're talking about Anthony, that crosses Pierce Road, right?
Yeah. Comes down and then.
And that runs all the way back across Osborne. We just worked on that tile system up there, didn't we?
Just north of Osborne, right?
North of Osborne and coming down through all that wooded area. Comes around through there and then comes under Pierce Road right north, or right west of Elm.
Yeah.
And I know the Shepherds have done a lot of work in there.
Yes.
too, So I talked to Kevin on that, so. Yeah, when we're done here, we'll go up and
Okay.
investigate a little bit further.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay, now I've got what you fellas think about this here, what you're. Does,
Assessment?
when Martin bid that job, or give us that price, did he go by the one that was west side of the school woods?
When I first got this, yeah, I looked at the tile that was further west. And that, it turned out it was the wrong one, so then we got this from him and I remarked it on this map.
So this is an actual bid on,
This is,
down right there where about where the ditch turns south.
right, this is further east from the school.
Yes,
From Madison Township School,
yes.
on the north side of Pierce.
Now, the landowner claims that that's an 18-inch tile going across there. And there's several blowholes are fixed and it's gotta be scalped. How many acres is that field, 60 acres, or is that an 80?
Yep, looks like it's bigger, yeah, 20, it looks like 40, then another 20, yeah.
I don't see any reason to have an 18-inch tile in that short a distance, even though it does run on further north with some laterals, but they're not complaining there. I mean, to me, that's an awful big tile to drain across 60 or 80 acres.
Or
There's
does it go
lateral.
north from there?
It crosses the next farm. Then
Is
there's,
this at the head of the tile or which way is the water flowing? I guess?
we're going south across Pierce Road. It's the,
So is there tile in there currently?
yeah.
And
It's
you
an
think it's in 18?
That's what he says, the owner. Well, the owner passed, but the boys farm it. And they're blowing out, they got blowholes to fix. But I don't see a reason.
How far north does it go from this property line or this project?
How far does that go on into the Moyer property?
I'm not, well, I don't remember off the top of my head how far much further that goes north.
But
I guess I'm just trying to get an idea of how much watershed there is above it to make sure we're not.
that map that you
If
got,
it's
John,
currently an 18-inch, and we're gonna go to 15, is that the right thing to do, I guess?
Well, I think he's going with instead of the clay, I think he's going with the smooth core. So, you know, it's
Smooth
smooth on
inside.
the inside, which, yeah, you can get.
Is
little
currently a
more
clay
capacity.
or some other tile in there?
I thought it was concrete. I don't know.
To tell you the truth, Randy, I don't know a lot about this tile because
We've never done anything on that.
we would get occasional calls from the landowner and Kevin, they know Kevin real well, some Shepherds.
Yeah,
So I would just have Kevin go fix it, and he'd run out and fix it, and it was just, you know, the tile separated, nothing really a big issue, it was just, I guess, you know, he'd go fix it once in a while. And I don't remember him doing it a whole lot on this tile, but I think the homeowner all of a sudden hired, has gotten
Martin,
Martin's farm tile, and he's been fixing it, I guess, for the owner. So I do know Martin, but I haven't worked with him on this tile, so.
so
it's,
I guess if it's an 18-inch tile, now we got a bid to put a 15-inch. Who made that decision?
I don't
They-
think,
Martin,
yeah, and I mean, Randy, you're only going across 60, 80 acres, why do you need that big a tile?
Well, I didn't know how much was up
There's a few,
above it.
What's above it though?
not much.
that's,
Or what volume of water it handles, you know, I just,
yeah, here again, I'm not real sure, but I mean, if you look at the map, that goes through some pretty wet ground, so.
When you cross the property, it does run all the way along Pierce Road as you're going to Walkeroos. And you cross to the north, you get into, Vicky Moyer. They don't even farm it. I don't know where they rent it or whatever, but there's some, when John had the picture, there are some tile runaway, or, you know, out on them, but they don't go a long ways though, John. It isn't like it continues on and on, it goes into the next property and it stops, there's fingers off the end of it. So I would, how many acres goes into that?
We did invite the landowner to come, but he had a medical procedure.
Yes, I called him and he's at the hospital this morning.
so is this, one of our tiles? then?
No. Yes,
Yes.
yes, it
It's
is.
on, it's on
Yes,
the
I'm
map.
sorry, it is.
It's a drainage board,
The drainage, right, it's on the drainage board map.
it's up to us to maintain it,
Yeah,
or repair it, maintain it,
Right.
replace it.
Well, it's up to us to repair, maintain it. Now, it's not necessarily up to us to replace it. That's more of a, reconstruction kind of thing, and that's where John could answer more questions than I could on that. But, you know, if there's a blowhole or tree, you know, there's no issue fixing that. It's when we're replacing 1,800 foot of tile, that gets, you know,
So the landowner must have contacted Martin's.
he did, last
Martin's
spring.
is recommending instead of an 18-inch,
Yes, and
go
then
to
Martin
15.
sent the bill to Tom, and then Tom was called me and kinda investigating it. And I
So,
was kinda hoping Martin would, the landowner would be here today to kinda explain more, but.
so my other question, if that's our responsibility, in, with that size of amount of cost, is that something that the drainage board needs to take
I
bids
would-
on?
The proposal on it, I would think.
Proposals?
Yeah.
I think like.
And does the work, I guess, does the work need to be done, and is it our responsibility?
That's the one question I can't answer. Like I said, I've had the shepherd fix the occasional blowhole on that tile, but it's not like it's every year,
Yeah,
every other.
see, that's what I don't know,
That's what
So
I don't know.
you're questioning how severe the problem is?
Yes.
Can it be?
I would,
I don't know, I'm just asking questions.
No,
so
no,
we're not
those are good
spending-
questions.
Yeah.
Cause those are the ones I don't know, and I was hoping the landowner would be here to
we
answer
can
those.
wait till next month,
We can do
discuss it
that.
next time,
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, can't do
It's just
anything
pretty
now.
sizable, just to
very much.
write a blank check
Oh,
for it.
absolutely.
What,
I think we need.
what
more
you can do is
information.
refer it to the county surveyor for a report.
That would be
That's
my
the next-
recommendation too, to refer it to the surveyor's office to review and determine, and, because it sounds like, I agree with you, it sounds like what they're asking for is reconstruction, which is the surveyor's office. They need to assess whether that's necessary and how much it would be, and,
Do some looking.
I should have done more research on it, I guess, than I did
That-
before we came, but like I said, I was hoping he would be here to.
That paper that you've got that shows the tributaries out, or the,
The other tile?
Yeah, so they got an idea how far it does go.
Absolutely, finding water.
Yeah,
do
see
that.
how far north it goes.
No, oh yeah, get the watershed, the slope and all that, yeah.
Yeah, right, yes. Why isn't that big a tile?
Yeah, why is it at 18 inch, we're gonna go to
Right, you
15?
know.
Maybe you can visit with the Shepherd's on
That's
it.
what I'll need to look at. Yeah, I should have done that before, but I just.
So, I don't know if we need to table this till next month, or just,
I would say you just want to say, vote to refer it to the surveyor's office for review.
I'll make a motion, we refer this issue to the surveyor's office for review.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Motion carried. Now, John, on our change of assessments, we've got a fellow out there that left the Bellman Association and his 25 acres he's running into the Ulrey ditch. If we're not, Mr. Berger is the one that discovered this. And he wants to know if this landowner is paying the assessment to the county.
Okay, I can look it up.
And
That's easy to do.
give me Dave Schrock.
Okay.
When Eric took the assessment to the house for the Bellman ditch, their private association,
Okay, he's supposed to be in the Billman?
he left the Bellman.
He left
When
the
they
Billman.
went, when Eric took the assessment for the Bellman ditch,
You know where the property is? On what road?
over in the Cedar Road area.
Cedar.
Cedar and Patterson, that's where the Ulrey ditch runs over there.
Cedar and Patterson, somewhere in that area?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Let me, when I go upstairs, I'll look it up and see what he's paying, if he's paying anything.
find out whether he, because when Eric left the assessment for the Bellman
Yeah,
with the wife, he was leaving and Dave come out and said, no, he said, I left the Bellman Association, and I run 25 acres into the Ulrey, which is our ditch.
okay.
And Eric says he must make sure that he's paying his assessment in the county.
And the Billman Ditch is an association,
An
they
associate,
collect
you know,
their
the
own money, we don't have
association,
anything
yes,
to
we
do
don't
with
do
that. But I'll find, but if he's pulled out of the Billman, he's gotta be in something.
Yes, and he,
Okay.
this is new drainage that he did.
How do you just leave how do you just pull out of a watershed?
Said he turned his water and went the other way.
You just don't pay your bill.
Yeah,
Now, with the county, it's different, we would put it on the taxes,
Yes.
but
Right,
the
right,
Billman
yeah.
doesn't,
Associations, they
the
just gotta send
associations
letters
don't
and
have
bills out.
that right, so, yeah. But I'll just make sure he's paying something, and if he's not, I'll get a hold of you and let you know, so you can tell Berger.
I'm telling you,
Okay, I don't have anything else.
Randy.
I got two things. Uh-oh. The county line ditch between us and LaPorte County,
Yeah.
we feed or fund into it, and they do the culvert underneath Henry Road or County Road 250.
Yeah,
At one time, there was talk about that culvert needs to be replaced and it's gonna be lowered. Is there anything happening with it?
I don't know, we'll check with the
I-
county engineer.
I know Bailey brought that up to Chrissy, and I know last I talked, she was gonna go look at it, she asked me to look at it, as well, and I did, and it's a culvert that could be lowered. There's a bunch of them, like that around the county, and, that's kinda just where I left it.
Well, I've had one of the landowners, of course, we own the 80 right directly north of that, but then there's another 80 north of us to the east, and that landowner has been asking about that. I've been asking about the drainage, and I said, well, it all goes to the county line ditch. And
Right.
talk about that culvert being lowered underneath Henry Road. And
Who's the
it looked-
landowner?
Brackney's. It's one of Steve and Rachel Corman's
Yeah,
properties.
yep,
And now it's the daughter that owns it.
okay, yeah, it was one of the corners,
The
yeah.
daughter and husband, so.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll get ahold of Chrissy and culvert's not in bad shape, if I remember right. It's just that it's one of those things where it has to be lowered. Or he's asking for it to be lowered, so, you know,
I was thinking maybe it needed to be replaced.
it could be. I looked at a lot of culverts at that time, but,
Seemed like it's probably been in there 25 or more years.
so, yeah, I mean, we gotta justify
Sure.
either replacing the culvert or lowering it, and it's kinda hard to justify lowering it if just,
Well, if you're gonna lower it, it's gonna get replaced, you're not gonna put the
Correct.
same culvert. I think, well, it would be worth investigating.
it's worth it, yeah. Yeah, one of those things, Randy, where the landowner wants it lowered, go look at it, and then you never really hear anything else about it until, until it comes to a,
Yeah,
until they're serious about it, they bring it to a drainage board, and, yeah, then it starts moving faster, I guess. Cause I mean, if I lowered every culvert, every landowner asked me to lower it, that's all we'd be doing.
yeah, well, and I didn't, I mean, it goes under county
Yeah, it
road,
goes-
so I didn't know if it was us or the highway department.
Well, that would all, and that's what Chrissy was checking into, and but I never heard back from her, so. Okay, we'll look into it.
You had two things?
Well, yeah, the other was, Early Road, the west of Leidick and the S-curves there. The Langhoffers bought a 20-acre piece. They're wanting to build a home on that 20 acres. And that ditch on the east side of this 20 acres, it flows south down to the Chamberlain Ladder
I
Road?
believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Is that our ditch? Is that county
And there-
maintenance?
yes, that's the one, Maurice he tried to get that culvert replaced in those S-curves, is that right? Cause there's a ditch that runs off to the west.
Well, the ditch I'm thinking of would run south, and there's a lot of big tall cottonwoods and stuff in there.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong ditch then.
We'll have to look at
This
it.
is right
Oh,
in the
okay.
S-curve. I didn't know, it's not Brad, I'm trying to think of Langhofer. He's called me several times asking my opinion about it, because they gotta put a perimeter drain in to get their septic system approved. Well,
Oh,
to me, it's not the choicest spot to build a house.
okay, yeah, no, it just, I know when you're talking about now. That's one where the health department's basically telling him there's pieces of ground that shouldn't have houses on them, and they're telling him that's one of them.
I believe it. I won't
Yes,
argue that.
and I kinda told him that too, but he's dead set on having it built. So, I've came up with a couple options on him, he's gonna buy the 10 acres to the west, I think, or southwest. He's looking at buying that, and well, maybe if you could put a pond on, run your tile to that pond, that's far enough away from the house, you could get it through the health department, and the health department said, no, you can't do that. So, his only real option is to get a hold of Foreman and kinda cut across his property to the south and tie into one of his existing ditches.
Yeah, so between his property and the Corman property, which is east of there, there's a ditch that runs north-south that drains into the.
Not really much of a ditch. The one that runs from the curb down.
Yeah, south of that, there is. Right from the curve, immediately south, a quarter of a mile, 1,300 feet, there's tall cottonwoods in there.
Yes, yes.
That, I think that was a ditch at one time.
At one time, yeah.
40 years ago, if not more. But south of the cottonwoods, then it is an open ditch that goes down, because we used to farm that for
Yeah.
town, and we did ditch that, or clean that once. So I didn't know if that's part of a county drain, partially up to the cottonwoods. And there should,
It's one of those things, right, it's on the map, but years and years ago, Steve DeClute and I walked that whole thing. We walked down that line and we were looking for anything that resembled a ditch. And you could see where there used to be a ditch, but those cottonwoods are right in the center, and
yeah, oh
There's
yeah,
no-
there's no.
there's no really ditch there. So what I think Langhoffer
Yeah, Langhoffer.
wants to do is cut across Foreman's property and get to one of those little lateral ditches. And of course, Foreman, Tom, he's like, well, you can put in a tile for me, but I'm not gonna pay for it, kind of thing, so.
Well, yeah, and Langhoffer wants to go the way of least resistance, and I says, that ditch really needs to be maintained, and them cottonwoods redug or come down, cause there's an issue even north of Early Road of water ponding in the corner and no place for it to go. And we get heavy rains, I mean, Langhoffer's gonna, I tried to explain all that to him. Point being, I brought it up, I didn't know if there was anything, if it is a county drain, and if there was anything we could do jointly with the landowners to reconstruct that ditch.
It's one of those things, Randy, where there's, several around the county where, yes, there's a line on the map that says that at one time this was a county ditch or county tile, but then when you get out there, there's just nothing there, or hadn't been touched for 80 years, 50 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And
that
it's
stretch
not
where
really
the
serving a
cottonwoods
purpose,
is.
and that's kind of where we are on this
And
one.
that stretch where the cottonwoods is, that's correct. But south of the cottonwoods, there is an open ditch, I remember.
Yeah, no, you're right, I forgot that.
We maintained it ourselves
Yes.
once when we farmed that.
So it is one of those things where I've always looked at it as, okay, there's real no justification to clean the ditch because there's really nothing above it. But now we got a landowner that wants to build a house.
Yeah. Well, and there is above it that does have an issue, I mean,
Yeah,
so,
a little one, but not.
well, depends on the amount of rainfall.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow,
But I mean, to reclaim that ditch, we're looking probably 35, 40 grand at least, the size of those cottonwoods, so, justifying it.
well, and I didn't feel it was totally drainage board responsibility, I was saying a joint effort between
No,
drainage board and
he's-
landowners.
He's,
But,
he's willing to put in some money towards being able to build this house.
yeah,
Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know.
I didn't know
What
if
his
we
background
would
is, but-
look at it as a proposal and then that amount be split 50-50 or 25-75.
Well, here again, I've just been talking to him in the health department, so if you want me to kind of put a report together on that one too, get a cost, and I can do that as well, have it ready for next meeting.
I didn't know where he was at on the whole thinking about, well.
He's just trying to- Yeah, he's just trying to figure it out now, and the health department's trying to talk him out of building the house. And I've kind of, you got a field that floods and you're putting a house in the middle of it.
Yeah,
But,
I'm with.
and I told him that, and he's like, well, I'll build the house up, and I'm gonna build ponds, I'm gonna take that dirt with the house on the dirt, but then I got a septic I gotta deal with, so
Yeah, gotta build a flush.
that's kind of where we are.
Put together.
Not
a
the
little-
choicest spot to build a house, I agree.
Okay.
Anyhow, okay,
I wanted to just maybe revisit that Cartoffel, John,
Okay.
since we have some money back in Pine Creek. I know it's been on the priority list for a few years,
Yep.
and we just kind of set it aside because we spent a lot of money down there. And
That's gonna be real tricky, but we'll look into it, and, yeah, I know you and I talked about it, so now's a good time to do it. There's not a lot of issues, other issues going on in that watershed, so time to work on one that,
How much spraying did we do this summer?
Michigan did along Harrison Road. He did for a landowner up there, I forget who that was right off the top of my head though. And then, Dave Schrock has done some spraying too, but he said, I'm not gonna turn those bills in. So, I'm not sure on exact footage, but
I was just wondering that, what we had last spring, we had, like, sort of do more, and I just wondered if we did, it's hard to get Mishler.
it is, he's hard.
Busy.
And the other options dealt with Delta 3, and every time
No,
they
that-
work for us, they,
Yeah, that don't work.
yeah. So, I'll start looking for another sprayer then.
Yes.
I mean, Wayne does an awesome job.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
just he's-
yes.
I mean, he's to the point where he'll sometimes put it off till he can't do it again, and then next time he looks at it, it's twice as big. That happened on one of Randy's fields, so,
Yeah, can we get that brushed on the grapevine,
yeah.
south of Johnson?
I was thinking actually having that whole thing brushed. So,
Absolutely.
that one and the Dixon West Place, all the way down into, and the Kankakee all the way down.
Yeah,
So we can get that one at the same time.
yeah,
That was gonna be a proposal for this
yeah,
one.
that'd be a great proposal, yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
Opposed?
We're
Carried.
Yeah.
All right, so I will, yeah, I'll get those two